Welcome back. We've got another great show for you this time. We've got my friend Dustin, and we've been using his product on and off for a very long time. In fact, we met, and when he explained to me what he had, I was like, okay, I'll test it out in Ventura County. And it worked. We got some leads and we closed some listings from it. Now the topic of seller leads is at the forefront of every conversation right now, especially with the whole NAR situation. I thought, who better to reach out to than Dustin, because the stuff he's selling, the product he has works. And so, Dustin, we wanted to bring you back. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Tell me a little bit about you and your company, and then we'll get right into it.
Well, Tristan, I'm a real estate entrepreneur. I've been doing this for 21 years now. And everything has always been, from my perspective, about the acquisition of real estate. I'm a real estate investor, first and foremost, turned grudgingly into a realtor. And I own a real estate brokerage and a property management company. And what we've done really, really well is figure out ways to get home sellers to raise their hand to suggest that they may be interested in selling their house if the right offer was put in front of them. And so the background basically is that my job has always been to try to target, to find the home sellers that are most likely to sell and figure out how to use a unique selling proposition to get that hand up.
Okay, let's start with that then, the unique selling proposition, because in this business as a real estate agent or team or brokerage, we're always told to have this USP, but it's a challenge for a lot of agents to identify one that connects with the audience they're trying to reach. And now, right now, specifically now, most of the US agents are looking for listings. So, what unique selling proposition have you seen works? And then tie that into how you use it for if we sign up for your product. How does that all work?
Sure. So for the unique selling proposition, I don't know. There's a lot of publicity, or maybe even negative publicity, around 72 sold. Right, that was a unique selling proposition, and
Yeah. They
so
may have
in
been a whole brand, man. That was like a whole brand, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't want anyone to overthink what a unique selling proposition is, but we have a brand called the Owner Advocate that basically promotes other realtors to suggest that they're the top of their game. And the Owner Advocate has 5 unique selling propositions. Of course, the traditional listing. And I really want to focus on the traditional listing because that is what most of us do. But we use optionality. I don't know how old our audience is, but Priceline and optionality. This is the Priceline for real estate. You get the option to be able to create your own opportunity. So we have the traditional listing, and there's a whole bunch of unique ways to promote a traditional listing. Instant cash offer, right? A fix and list, an offer that says, hey, listen, if your house isn't exactly up to par, we can use our cash or your cash to help you bring your house to the market premium status. A sale leaseback, right? Sometimes people need a transitionary time in order to get into their next program, their next house, their next assisted living, wherever they may end up being. And then the bridge option, where we can help you buy your second house prior to selling your first house, which allows you to have the certainty that your family is comfortable and the transition is easy. And again, in a bridge option, you could, once you're out of the house and you can, touch it up, clean it up, remodel a kitchen or bathroom, you'll be able to get that market premium. And so again, I don't want our audience to overthink what those things are. I don't know how to do any of those things. We have solutions to do all of those things internal to our infrastructure, but you're really just trying to get homeowners to say, oh, I want to talk to Dustin. I want to talk to Tristan because Tristan has something unique to offer.
Okay, let's go further into that then, because I have 2 verticals here. One, we can use a company like yours to do this, or we can simply do it ourselves, right? For
Yeah.
me, I like to leverage companies to be able to, so I'm doing more, right? A team, a brokerage, all that. But if we were going to do this on our own, Dustin, meaning I'm going to put some money behind some ads, or I just want to do it locally and I'm going to mail it out, right? To like 300, 400 homes, nothing big. what unique selling proposition is working the best right now?
Hmm. Well, it depends on who your audience is, right? So I
Perfect.
own a I own a data company, I own a lead generation company, I own a marketing company. And so from the perspective of choosing your audience, if you're working with motivated absentee owners, then you have to have a unique offering that appeals to someone who says, "Oh, the real estate market's looking a little shaky. I think I'm going to need an exit," you know? And
Yeah.
so that's a very, very different offering than going after, let's say, empty nesters. That's another data point that Geopoint Data has.
Mm.
And that's a very different data point than going after financially distressed homeowners, right? And so
Yeah.
let's take just one example. Let's go with empty nesters. So we have data on how many kids are in the household, how old the kids are, and how old the parents are, right? So
Mhm.
if we know how old the parents are and there are no kids in the household, then and they have a 6,000 square foot house, or more practically, maybe a 3,000, 4,000 square foot house. They don't need that square footage. And
Yeah.
my parents are aging in place, right? And they have a big, beautiful house, and it's a lot of cleaning, it's a lot of maintenance. And so you might
Hmm.
suggest that there are communities that you can find all of the amenities that my parents want, maybe some pickleball, maybe a hot tub and a pool, and all these things, and you don't have to deal with the 4,000 square foot house. So you might suggest in your unique selling proposition that you are an expert at these, retirement orientated communities, and it's as simple as that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you've got to try all of these different avenues, right? Which is what you and I were talking about earlier, omni channel. You got to be omnipresent,
That's right.
and that's going to require you to do it in different ways. That's what I'm hearing. Because you
Yep.
said, well, there's empty nesters, there's people who own homes that just they want to sell, get me out of here, right? Or people are like, man, the market may crash. I need to sell at the height, right? Or something different. So how do we go about this doing a great job so that we can be omnipresent in trying to attract as many of these people that want to sell as possible?
That's a great question. So so there's the audiences, right? And so first you narrow your audience, and I'm a younger, good-looking guy, and so I'm looking to communicate with people that, and I'm smart, and I'm an investor, and so I would be communicating with investors, and my messaging would resonate really well with investors, right? And there's other
Got it.
realtors that have a message that would resonate really well with all types of different audiences. So first off, you got to choose your audience, and then you hit it until you find out it works or it doesn't work, right? So let's make sure
Okay.
that we're clear that I don't want everyone to go and try a whole bunch of different things, but what you suggested, please.
Yeah. Would you say that, okay, let's say I start, I'm going to go back a little bit. Let's say I'm saying, Dustin, I give you a call. I want to just start with, let's see, I live in a community that has older people. They may want to downsize because their kids are now older. Let's say I want to go with that community. All
Yep,
right. I want to
absolutely.
go with older. They're going to now downsize in the next 10 years, probably a lot of them.
Yep.
That's my niche now. And when I call you, what happens next with that niche? And it's a two-part question. And when do I add other niches? Because I want everything in my area.
Course. Yeah. Well, so we use algorithms, we use flags, we use things to get to say these people are more likely to sell than not, right? I track a lot
Okay.
of death, divorce, the D's, right? Death, divorce, diapers, diamonds, right? And so I,
Mhm.
I track all of these things, and we're going to focus on your example. It's the aging generation, and they do not want to see a text message from you, especially a cold text message, right? And nobody should be sending text messages. There's so much risk right now that you don't want to do that. But what we
Yeah.
appreciate is an omnichannel approach. My parents are on Facebook looking at my kids' pictures, right? So we know that they're there. we know that my parents are opening up every single freaking piece of mail. We know that they are in the neighborhood, in the community, right? So the way that I would approach an omnichannel perspective for my parents is I would say I would be posting pictures of myself in the community with my family in these parks that they know, in the local Sprouts or Whole Foods or local events, right? So your social media would suggest that you are a part of the community, you're involved with the community, and that you care, right? And then your mailer would be a opportunity to cement, oh, I think I saw that guy and now I'm getting a mailer from that guy. And so the mailer would have your offering and let me go back to trust, expertise, and authority, right? You have to have trust, expertise, and authority. So you're going to use an omnichannel approach to communicate trust, expertise, and authority. So that social media, I'm a part of your community, that builds trust. Testimonials builds trust. Expertise, I sold 4 houses in your community. Look how well I did, right? That's expertise. And authority, you're a realtor, you have accolades, you've taken all of these classes, you know how to communicate, let's say transition in place or people transitioning generally. So a mailer, the social media, those two, cold email is still a legitimate way to outreach to people. So from an omnichannel perspective, those are the things that if you were, do it yourself or work with our company, that's how we would approach these things, is to focus our attention on mail, social media, pay-per-click, and make sure that they will, once they land on your website, you're going to see that person over and over and over.
So let me take a look really quick. I'm going to click on the link that I put everyone, that I gave everyone there, because you do a lot of things. You mentioned the 3 things there. So if I'm going to Geopoint Leads, this on its own, this is just the online. This is not the mailer piece. Am I right? Or what am I missing here?
Correct. This is the easy button, my friend. These leads are derivatives of we buy houses fast for cash offer. So that's one of our unique selling propositions, and we get anywhere between 50 to 100,000 people raising their hand every month, saying, I would like to sell my house fast for cash, right? Now, most of these people do not sell their house fast for cash, but we have questions that say, why are you selling? Well, I'm a tired landlord. I'm going through a divorce. I need money. So it helps us narrow down that audience. So we basically done all of the work for you, where we just say, hey, this person's raised their hand. They would like a cash offer. Would you like to talk to them? And that lead is instantly dropped into their CRM. And we would hope that the realtor would use an omnichannel approach to make sure that they follow up and drip into those people.
Okay, so I'm about to show the mailer one too, but first on that, when they come through, they're coming to get a cash offer type of situation, right? And you're right. Most of the people I talk to, when I tell them, hey, listen, I got your inquiry about all cash. We can definitely do that. Do you have a minute? I can explain to you how it works. And they're like, yeah. And then I tell them what it normally looks like, right? We've got an investor, because we do. One agent on my team, his dad buys the home, so it's so much easier, right? I'm like, yeah, here's what it looks like. And they're like, wow. I'm like, yeah, and you've got the option of putting it on the market, right, at fair market value. And that's everyone's familiar with that. I go, then again, what are your options then? What do you want to do? And then they talk. For me, it gives me the ability to talk to them about selling their home. And I think some people miss that. But here's the other piece to this, because if I now have the online one and then I do this, how is this different specifically?
Yeah, for sure. So in a pay per lead model, we have done all the work. We've done all of the work to say these are the most likely sellers. We're going to target those sellers using our offer. And once they raise their hand, we're going to push that lead over to the licensed real estate professional. But if you want to go narrow into your neighborhood or your zip codes or your counties, and then you would look for data points that would say, these are the people that I want to communicate my unique selling proposition, as opposed to my cash offer, right? That's going to give an audience that I wanted to target, that I would
Very specific.
Yeah, so now here you're going to go after the families that empty nesters or the motivated absentees or the very specific properties within your market that you know you're looking for, especially if you have a buyer, right? So if you have a buyer that's looking for a 4-bedroom house over 3,000 square feet between a price range of X and Y, we can target all of those sellers that are most likely to sell within that very narrow criterion, and then you start sending them mail. So
Okay.
as opposed to a pay-per-lead model, this is a data plus mail model so that you can create your own high intent leads.
Okay. So I'm targeting the area. Like I said, let's just say it's my community.
Yep.
Next thing, I select the proven template. Are you talking about one of these or a combination of all of these? What's the template?
Well, in my world, we don't let home sellers, if we know that someone's likely to sell their house, we don't ever let them go, right? So we're going to rotate.
I love that.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're gonna rotate all of these, and then there's you can probably you got to keep it the rule of KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right?
Yep.
You want to kind of have this a consistency, but if you're going after a high intent distressed seller, this snap pack
Mhm.
here, that open rate is absurd, right? But you don't want to use a snap pack if you're going after a wealthy empty nester because it's a little gimmicky, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
with wealthy, empty nester, you'd probably want to focus on this 7x10 custom greeting card. And I imagine you could probably click through on that if you wanted.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Hold on. There we go. 7x10 custom greeting card. Okay.
Yeah. So this looks like a if you want to press that arrow button on the right next to the custom greeting card. There you go.
Oh,
So
nice.
there's enough room inside of that card to communicate. Those are the 5 unique selling propositions that, yeah, zoom in and see, right? There's enough room inside of there to be able to communicate those unique selling propositions. And, this is just kind of
Mm.
a templatized version of this. And so our team helps you make this your own, however you like. But that customized greeting card also has a very high open rate because everyone's hoping for a birthday card or a Christmas card. Who loves
Yeah,
it?
something different. All right, on this, Dustin, I'm reading improve and sell. We cover any out-of-pocket repair expenses to maximize your sale price. If we choose to leave that there, is that something that your team connects us with somebody local to be able to do that, or how does that work?
Yeah, there's multiple vendors. There's a couple vendors that I really like that actually provide that service, and so it's an underwriting process, and you have everything's a pain in the ass when you start talking about underwriting.
Yep.
But yes, we have vendors that will offer that service, and a lot of real estate agents may offer to partner with a general contractor where the realtor might even pay the
Mm.
$10,000 or $15,000 to clean up that house, and the general contractor does the work and liens the house, and yeah, so there's a do-it-yourself version, and we can have an entire webinar on fix and list, right? And then there's a few
Wow.
companies that we'd be happy to provide that offer the service for the realtor community.
I love this, man. This is really cool. In fact, I that really piques my interest more on the mailer part. I really like that a lot. Not that I don't like the online leads. I've done that one a lot too. I'm just saying that
It's
that's
it's
pretty
just
cool.
the difference is, you're able to when you can advertise. The more people see my face, the better off
Right.
I'm going to be because there's latent marketing, right? And so latent
Yeah.
marketing, if you get a mailer, a physical piece of something in front of them, like the calendar, the magnetic calendar on the fridge, that used to be a thing
Mhm.
that probably still is a thing that realtors do.
Yep.
But you're able to
Yes.
get those touch points over and over and over. And so hopefully the best case is that your mailer is strong enough to put that in a drawer, and when they're ready to sell 2 months, 3 months, 4 months from now, they give you a call. And so that latent response is a beautiful thing with mailers.
Got it. All right. So what am I looking at here at Geopoint Data?
Well, this is my favorite part. So,
All right.
we're gonna show you guys the easy button from a data perspective, and then from a custom perspective, we have all kinds of things. I talked about the D's, the death, divorce, diamonds, diapers, right? Babies and marriage and death and divorce. And so, if you want to scroll down, Tristan, of course, you choose your area, whatever market you're in, county, zip code, occupancy. We'll start there. Let's go after absentee owners and owner
Sure.
occupied for this purpose.
Okay. Cool.
And then let's choose Ventura County. Let's scroll back up and actually,
I chose all of Malibu, but let's go to Ventura.
yeah, well, the larger the population, because we're going to try to narrow down to a very small audience. So let's start big and then go small.
Ventura County, that one.
I don't know. Maybe scroll down a
Let's
little
do
bit more and make
it.
sure. Ventura,
Ventura.
that county right there. That's the
Yeah,
one.
that's the one,
Nope, one
right?
down. One down. See that little box that says county? That's what your indicator is. Ventura, comma, CA. That.
Got you. Okay, it said county on there. Okay, perfect. Ventura County. Chose it.
Yep.
All right, I go to the next one. Wait a second.
Yeah, didn't choose.
Ventura County. Let's go down. County. Did that
And that
choose?
should have done it. Yep. Go. Let's see the screen and make sure. Click out.
Yep,
Yep.
there it is.
Got it.
All right.
And then let's go to the bottom and refresh leads count and just see how many absentee and owner occupied homeowners we have. Now,
Gotcha.
your box is checked to include contact information, cell phone, landline, and email address, right? We don't have everyone's cell phone, landline, and email address, but we have a lot of them. So while we're waiting for this thing to populate, now what's happening right now is this is being pinged into our servers in downtown Phoenix, and it's calculating all of the people. And there are 178,000 people in Ventura County that are absentee and owner occupied that we have a cell phone, landline, or email address for, right?
Wow.
And so if I don't want you to take off this box, but if you did take off that box, most likely the number would increase by 30 to 40% because that's usually how many phone numbers we don't have for homeowners.
Got it. Okay. So I can even go further down and say, hey, I only want houses.
Yeah. So let's click on single family just for the sake of the conversation. And now we're going to go to, yeah, if you want, let's not refresh leads count at this point, but let's go to motivator flags.
Okay.
So vacant houses, now this is a U.S. Postal Service indicator, and vacant house could be all kinds of things. But if you were to use, there's a advanced filter flag. Don't go there yet. But if you were to use the advanced filter flag and say, I only want people 80 years and older with a vacant house, right? Guess, Tristan, who are those people?
Dude, that's like the silver tsunami, man.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
right.
They own the home. They probably free and clear. They want to downsize. Yeah, that's a really good target audience. I'd probably go for like 70 and older. It'd be perfect.
I agree. So then, if let's say, just for the purpose of, let's say we're going to use a shotgun in this version, and so let's do empty nesters.
Empty nesters, vacant. You want me to do vacant too?
Yeah, vacant, empty nesters, and 60 years and older.
Okay, perfect.
And then let's look at the premium flags just for fun.
Okay.
So likely to be distressed. There's a whole bunch of secret sauce that, we use the word obfuscation. It's a complicated word in the data world, but we are in 11 different verticals. We collect data in solar and mortgage and insurance and people looking for debt, cash out refinance, all of these different things. So we have a whole bunch of secret sauce inside of that likely to be distressed flag. And of course, pre-foreclosures or people headed into foreclosure. We won't mess with any, but go ahead and press the refresh leads count.
Oh, okay, got it. Let me go down.
Go down to the bottom, refresh.
Count.
And so now it went from that 178,000 people to however many people are 60 years and older, vacant house or empty nesters. I'm hoping that we use there's an and or flag. And so I'm hoping we use the or as opposed to and, because we might end up with 12 leads if we use the and flag.
Oh,
but
got it.
yeah. So then we're narrowing it down to say, okay, there's 178,000 people to 1,600 people. Now, some realtors can afford to mail 1,600 people 6 times in an 18-month period, which is one of my things that I would suggest, right? Some people can't. So you can continue, like, let's do one more. Let's go to the advanced filters. And now you have a sale date. Let's make sure that people have lived there for over 20 years. So a maximum sales date of 2,000. So at the top right there,
Sale date.
yep, max sale date. So we want to do, yeah, you're going to have to do it differently than that. So yeah, you either go with that a lot or you start typing in January 3rd,
Oh, got
2000,
it.
zero,
January
01.
01.
Well, get rid of January. I'll tell you what, if you click on
01.
February anywhere, it'll give you the date format. There you go. And
There.
so
Ah,
change it to
perfect.
2000.
So let's just go 2000. Oh, damn. All right, hold on.
There
Let's
you go.
just
Just
pick
pick
there.
it. There you go. That's it. And so
Max.
then I don't, just for the sake of the example. So just go ahead and refresh the leads count. But notice before we do that, that you can narrow it by market value, square footage, year built, the owner age, the amount of equity that they have in their house, right? So all of
Yeah.
these are, these are for the, I'm a data nerd and I love these things, but it really is contingent on your budgetary spend, what you can afford to market to. And then while this is refreshing, I'm going to give the audience a little secret. There is a lot of realtors should be very concerned about the do not call list, and a lot of realtors, the phone is how real estate has been done for forever. What's better than belly to belly sales is talking to somebody on the call. And so there is a do not call list inside of our data points. There you go, 253. So if you have a small budget, this is how you figure out who those people that are most likely to sell. They've had in the house for 20 years, they are 60 years and older, and they're getting ready.
I like this. So on this, let's say I do want to do 253 people, Ventura County, with all these data points. I think my chances are now higher to get a listing. What would be, what are the touch points that you do normally for something like this?
Hmm.
How often are you reaching out to them, and what would be the cost here overall? It says $50. Is that every time I'm sending out?
No, what you would probably want to do with those 253 people is never let them go, as I was suggesting earlier, right? So you buy that
Mm-hmm.
one time and then you mail to them 6 times over an 18-month period. And if 5% of the world sells their house in the United States, 5% of the house sells their house every year, then you're hoping that out of that 253 list, 10 to 15% might sell, right?
Yeah,
So
because it's targeted. Yeah, makes
yep.
sense.
You're going to hit them over and over and over. You're never going to let them go because you think that your offer is strong enough to get them to raise their hand when they're actually ready to talk.
Got it.
So
And so
what you want to do
that's
is
great.
please.
No, I'm just saying 10%. And I think you're right because it's so highly targeted on a specific audience, it is going to be selling more.
Yeah. So
I
25
do
people of
agree
those
with
people
that.
are going to sell inside of an 18-month period. And all you need is a unique selling proposition to get them to call you. That's it. So what we're really going to talk about now, Tristan, is entry points or opening, let's cold touch points, right? So you can cold call, you can cold email, you can cold mail. Right. And so how are you going to get someone into your funnel is what we're talking about. This is called omnichannel, gain listings by omnichannel. I don't even know what our presentation is called today, but how are you going to get someone into your funnel? And so
Mhm.
I used to make scaled outbound calls with a cash offer, and I started talking about non-solicitation rules. If you make a cash offer on a house, then you're not soliciting, you're making a cash offer on a house, right? So there's a little get out of jail free card, and it applies in all states except
Okay.
for Utah and one other state to be able to make a cold call. Now, that's the cheapest way to get somebody to potentially communicate with you, because calls are relative. You can pick up the phone 253 times however many times it takes to get someone to pick up the phone, right? There's bucket
Mhm.
number one. But mail is a really great way to get someone into your funnel. So you have a unique
True.
selling proposition and you ask them to either give you a call or come to your website, right? Or send a text message, right? So let's say that you were able to convince them to go to your website to learn more about your unique selling proposition.
Mhm.
Now that they're on the website, you're going to want to retarget them, right? Now you have you pixelated them, and you're going to run your ads against that pixel for any given period of time. So every time they look at their kids' pictures on Facebook, they see you, they have that mailer that you sent them in the drawer. And now all of a sudden you are the guy behind the guy, because they are starting to see you everywhere, and you're sending 6 mailers over an 18-month period. So they believe that you're good at marketing, which is really the only thing that you need to convince homeowners of, is that you're good at marketing, because you're going to help them sell their house for the most amount of money possible.
Got it. All right, I like that, man. I was just showcasing like this is probably what will happen from those 250 people or however many we got. We
Yeah.
would then choose how we target those 250 people over.
Yeah.
I
And what were you
would,
just looking at? Just again, unique selling propositions, or you just trying to catch attention, right? That's
yeah,
this entire business of marketing. And so that postcard that you were just on is a Google image of their house. Like, how many people get a picture of their own house in the mail? Doesn't happen very often, right? So if you're able to do that, then you're able to get hand raisers, and it's just about getting someone to raise their hand cheaper than within your affordability range.
I like that. All right, so where would we start if I'm interested, if just to learn more about this? Where
I
would
got
we go to?
there's 3 different links that we'll provide. We have the pay-per lead model, we have the data, and we have the mail. And we got a couple beta things running with a couple customers where we actually provide that entire service with cold email and mail and all of the social media and pay-per-click. But let's not focus our attention on that. The 3 things that are available to the entire audience today are the data points that you guys just saw. So the link will be for the data there. The mail, the link will be for the data there. And then the pay-per-lead service, where we have done all of the marketing for you, and we've already gotten people to raise their hand, and we just drop that thing in your CRM as soon as they come into our funnel.
I like it, man. I like it. All right, I put all the links up there, and I did put if anyone has any questions where they could go and find out more information. I like it, Dustin. All right, if you want to do this as our second one, I'd love for us to interview somebody or maybe a couple of people that are
Yeah.
using your different tools and that are
No,
succeeding, so we can see
see the smile.
how it.
I got people that are thousands of percent return on some of these things. And
I
so I would
remember
love
you telling
that.
me that.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's find 2 people, set up
Okay.
or one, and then we'll
Yep.
go from there.
We
And this
will.
way we can start asking specifics and how long it took, what the approach is that they do, a lot of the details that we want to know as agents.
Absolutely.
I like it, man.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. I've been in your lab coat agents group for some time, and you got a great group of people there, and I'm excited to help everybody fight the disruptors is kind of my motto. There's the people that are trying to take our jobs. We know how to take
Yeah.
our jobs back, and I'm excited to help the realtor community have the marketing machines that all the big guys have, so that they can fight back.
Well, dude, you outlined it very well, so I see it. So thank you. Thank you for putting all that together.
Of course.
Appreciate it. All right, Dustin, thank you so much. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.